Alrighty, let's do this. The last few chapters of Exodus, New King James Version. The chapters are kind of long this time, so let's get this done. Chapter 38. He made the altar of burnt offering of acacia wood. 5 cubits was its length, and 5 cubits its width. It was square, and its height was 3 cubits. He made its horns on its 4 corners. The horns were of one piece with it, and he overlaid it with bronze. He made all the utensils for the altar, the pans, the shovels, the basins, the forks, and the fire pans. All its utensils he made of bronze. And he made a grate of bronze, network, for the altar. Under its rim, midway from the bottom, he cast 4 rings for the 4 corners of the bronze grating as holders for the poles. And he made the poles of acacia wood and overlaid them with bronze. Then he put the poles into the rings on the sides of the altar, with which to bear it. He made the altar hollow with boards. Verse 8. He made the laver of bronze and its base of bronze, and from the bronze mirrors of the serving women who assembled at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. Then he made the court on the south side. The hangings of the court were of fine woven linen, 100 cubits long. There were 20 pillars for them, with 20 bronze sockets. The hooks of the pillars and their bands were silver. On the north side, the hangings were 100 cubits long, with 20 pillars and their 20 bronze sockets. The hooks of the pillars and their bands were silver. And on the west side, there were hangings of 50 cubits, with 10 pillars and their 10 sockets. The hooks of the pillars and their bands were silver. For the east side, the hangings were 50 cubits. The hangings of one side of the gate were 15 cubits long, with their 3 pillars and their 3 sockets, and the same for the other side of the court gate. On this side and that were hangings of 15 cubits, with their 3 pillars and their 3 sockets. All the hangings of the court all around were of fine woven linen. The sockets for the pillars were bronze. The hooks of the pillars and their bands were silver, and the overlay of their capitals was silver, and all the pillars of the court had bands of silver. The screen for the gate of the court was woven with blue, purple, and scarlet thread, and of fine woven linen. The length was 20 cubits, and the height along its width was 5 cubits, corresponding to the hangings of the court. And there were 4 pillars with their 4 sockets of bronze. Their hooks were silver, and the overlay of their capitals and their bands was silver. All the pegs of the tabernacle and of the court all around were bronze. This is the inventory of the tabernacle of the testimony, which was counted according to the commandment of Moses for the servant of the Levites, by the hand of Ithamar, son of Aaron the priest. Bezalel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah, made all that the Lord had commanded Moses, and with him was Aholiab, the son of Ahisamach, of the tribe of Dan, an engraver and designer, a weaver of blue, purple, and scarlet thread and of fine linen. All the gold was used in all the work of the holy place, that is, the gold of the offering, was 29 talents and 730 shekels, according to the shekel of the sanctuary. And the silver from those who were numbered of the congregation was 100 talents and 1,775 shekels, according to the shekel of the sanctuary. A bekah for each man, that is, half a shekel, according to the shekel of the sanctuary, for everyone, included in the numbering from 20 years old and above, for 603,550 men. And from the 100 talents of silver were cast the sockets of the sanctuary, and the bases of the veil, 100 sockets from the 100 talents. I can read. 1 talent for each socket. Then from the 1,775 shekels he made hooks for the pillars, overlaid their capitals, and made bands for them. The offering of bronze was 70 talents and 2,400 shekels, and with it he made the sockets for the door of the tabernacle of meeting. the bronze altar, the bronze grating for it, and all the utensils for the altar, the sockets for the court all around, the bases for the court gate, all the pegs for the tabernacle, and all the pegs for the court all around. Alright, time for chapter 39. Hopefully my cat does not interrupt again. 1 second, I have to take a drink. Alrighty, let's do chapter 39, but first, at the end of this video, I am going to say a couple things about the chapter of Exodus that I just want to point out that I find interesting. Just at the end. So chapter 39. Of the purple, blue, Let's start over. Chapter 39. Of the blue, purple, and scarlet thread they made garments of ministry for ministering in the holy place, and made the holy garments for Aaron, as the Lord had commanded Moses. He made the ephod of gold, blue, purple, and scarlet thread, and a fine woven linen, and they beat the gold into thin sheets and cut it into threads, to work it in with the blue, purple, and scarlet thread, and the fine linen into artistic designs. They made shoulder straps for it to couple it together. It was coupled together at its two edges, and the intricately woven band of his ephod that was on it was of the same workmanship, woven of gold, blue, purple, and scarlet thread, and a fine woven linen, as the Lord had commanded Moses. And they set onyx stones enclosed in settings of gold. They were engraved as signets are engraved, with the names of the sons of Israel. He put them on the shoulders of the ephod as memorial stones for the sons of Israel, as the Lord had commanded Moses. And he made the breastplate artistically woven like the workmanship of the ephod, of gold, blue, purple, and scarlet thread, and a fine woven linen. They made the breastplate square by doubling it. A span was its length, and a span its width when doubled. And they set in it 4 rows of stones, a row with a sardius, a topaz, and an emerald was the first row. The second row a turquoise, a sapphire, and a diamond. The third row a jacinth, an agate, and an amethyst. The fourth row a beryl, an onyx, and a jasper. They were enclosed in settings of gold in their mountings. Hold on, I want to look something up. Never mind, I'll do it later. I just realized that going out of my camera on my phone might end the video, and I don't want to do that, because that would mean editing, and I'd rather not, because that's annoying on my phone. It takes a long time to render it again, because of how long the video is. I'll look it up later. Verse 14. There were 12 stones, according to the names of the sons of Israel, according to their names, engraved like a signet, each one with its own name, according to the 12 tribes. And they made chains for the breastplate at the ends, like braided cords of pure gold. They also made 2 settings of gold and 2 gold rings, and put the 2 rings on the 2 ends of the breastplate. And they put the 2 braided chains of gold and the 2 rings on the ends of the breastplate. The 2 ends of the 2 braided chains they fastened to the 2 settings, and they put them on the shoulder straps of the ephod in the front. And they made 2 rings of gold, and put them on the 2 ends of the breastplate on the edge of it, this which was on the inward side of the ephod. They made 2 other gold rings, and put them on the 2 shoulder straps underneath the ephod toward the front, right at the band of the ephod. And they bound the breastplate by means of its rings to the rings of the ephod with a blue cord, so that it would be above the intricately woven band of the ephod, that the breastplate would not come loose from the ephod, as the Lord had commanded Moses. He made the robe of the ephod of woven work olive blue, and there was an opening in the middle of the robe, like the opening in a coat of mail, with a woven binding all around the opening, so that it would not tear. They made on the hem of the robe pomegranates of blue, purple, and scarlet, and a fine woven linen. And they made bells of pure gold, and put the bells between the pomegranates, on the hem of the robe, all around between the pomegranates. A bell and a pomegranate, all around the hem of the robe to minister in, as the Lord had commanded Moses. They made tunics artistically woven of fine linen for Aaron and his sons, a turban of fine linen, exquisite hats of fine linen, short trousers of fine linen, and a sash of fine woven linen with blue, purple, and scarlet thread, made by a weaver, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Then they made the plate of the holy crown of pure gold, and wrote on it an inscription like the engraving of a signet, Holiness to the Lord. And they tied to it a blue cord to fasten it above on the turban, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Thus all the work of the tabernacle of the tent of the meeting was finished, and the Lord, I can speak. I skipped a line, sorry. And the children of Israel did according to all that the Lord had commanded Moses, so they did. And they brought the tabernacle to Moses, the tent and all its furnishings, its clasps, its boards, its bars, its pillars, and its sockets, the covering of ram skins dyed red, the covering of badger skins, and the veil of the covering, the ark of the testimony with its poles, and the mercy seat, the table, all its utensils, and the showbread, the pure gold lampstand with its lamps, the lamp set in order, all its utensils, and the oil for light, the gold altar, the anointing oil, and the sweet incense, the screen for the tabernacle door, the bronze altar, its grate of bronze, its poles, and all its utensils, and the laver with its base, the hangings of the court, its pillars and its sockets, the screen for the court gate, its cords, and its pegs, all the utensils for the service of the tabernacle, for the tent of meeting, and the garments of ministry, to minister in the holy place, the holy garments for Aaron the priest, and his sons' garments, to minister as priests. According to all that the Lord had commanded Moses, so the children of Israel did all the work. Then Moses looked over all the work, and indeed they had done it, as the Lord had commanded, just so they had done it. And Moses blessed them. Alright, that was chapter 39. This is the last chapter of Exodus. I need to take another drink. Alrighty, chapter 40. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, On the first day of the first month you shall set up the tabernacle of the tent of meeting. You shall put in it the ark of the testimony, and partition off the ark with the veil. You shall bring in the table and arrange the things that are to be set in order on it, and you shall bring in the lampstand and light its lamps. You shall also set the altar of gold for the incense before the ark of the testimony, and put up the screen for the door of the tabernacle. Then you shall set the altar of the burnt offering before the door of the tabernacle of the tent of meeting, and you shall set the laver between the tabernacle of meeting and the altar, and put water in it. You shall set up the court all around, and hang up the screen at the court gate. And you shall take the anointing oil, and anoint the tabernacle, and all that is in it, and you shall hallow it, and all its utensils, and it shall be holy. You shall anoint the altar of the burnt offering, and all its utensils, and consecrate the altar. The altar shall be most holy, and you shall anoint the laver and its base, and consecrate it. Then you shall bring Aaron and his sons to the door of the tabernacle of meeting, and wash them with water. You shall put the holy garments on Aaron, and anoint him, and consecrate him, he may minister to me as priest. And you shall bring his sons, and clothe them with tunics. Excuse me, sorry. That was embarrassing. You shall anoint them as you anointed their father, that they may minister to me as priests. For their anointing shall surely be an everlasting priesthood throughout their generations. Thus Moses did according to all that the Lord had commanded him, so he did. And it came to pass in the first month of the second year, on the first day of the month, that the tabernacle was raised up. So Moses raised up the tabernacle, fastened its sockets, set up its boards, put in its bars, and raised up its pillars. And he spread out the tent over the tabernacle, and put the covering of the tent on top of it, as the Lord had commanded Moses. He took the testimony and put it into the ark, inserted the poles through the rings of the ark, and put the mercy seat on top of the ark. And he brought the ark into the tabernacle, hung up the veil of the covering, and partitioned off the ark of the testimony as the Lord had commanded Moses. He put the table in the tabernacle of meeting on the north side of the tabernacle outside the veil, and he set the bread in order upon it, before the Lord, as the Lord had commanded Moses. He put the lampstand in the tabernacle of meeting across from the table on the south side of the tabernacle, and he lit the lamps before the Lord, as the Lord had commanded Moses. He put the gold altar in the tabernacle of meeting in front of the veil, and he burned sweet incense on it, as the Lord had commanded Moses. He hung up the screen at the door of the tabernacle, and he put the altar of burnt offering before the door of the tabernacle of the tent of meeting, and offered upon it the burnt offering and the grain offering, as the Lord had commanded Moses. He set the laver between the tabernacle of meeting and the altar, and put water for washing. Put water there for washing, and Moses, Aaron, and his sons would wash their hands and their feet with water from it, whenever they went into the tabernacle of meeting. And when they came near the altar, they washed, as the Lord had commanded Moses. And he raised up the court all around the tabernacle and the altar, and hung up the screen of the court gate. So Moses finished the work. Verse 34. Then the cloud covering the tabernacle of meeting and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. And Moses was not able to enter the tabernacle of meeting because the cloud rested above it, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. Whenever the cloud was taken up from above the tabernacle, the children of Israel would go onward in all their journeys. But if the cloud was not taken up, then they did not journey till the day that it was taken up. For the cloud of the Lord was above the tabernacle by day, and fire was over it by night, in the sight of all the house of Israel throughout all their journeys. All right, that was Exodus. So I want to point out a couple things that I noticed while reading it, but didn't want to talk about till the end. First thing is way back in the beginning. I mentioned it when I read it. When hold on. Moses' mother could no longer hide him and he was 3 months old. In the basket with the pitch and the asphalt on the bottom, she just set it by the river bank in the reeds. Like there was still water, I'm sure. And the daughter of Pharaoh just walked by the river to bathe and found him there. That makes so much more sense than I don't want to use the word sensationalized, but it was sensationalized version of it where he just gets floated down the river and ends up at the Pharaoh's house somehow. Like, I could believe that would happen because God can do that, but also I don't see how the Pharaoh's house would be on what I'm assuming is the Nile. It probably wouldn't have been. Also, what else was there? I lost my train of thought. Because it doesn't specify which daughter of Pharaoh, but I'm assuming the Pharaoh would have many, many, many children with many, many different women because of the time frame and how just pharaohs were rich and everything, and they could just literally buy them as wives and concubines. So he would have multiple children. And if it just so happened to be from one of the women that he didn't really care that much about, he wouldn't have cared that much what that daughter did. And therefore, he wouldn't care that much what Moses did. What else was there? There was something else. Oh, yes, the most important thing. People misinterpret the reason why the Hebrews want to leave Egypt. Yes, it's because they're being oppressed and forced to do labor. They're being mistreated. Yes, it's because the previous Pharaoh rather, killed a bunch of their kids or ordered a bunch of their kids to be killed. Yes, it's because of that. But also, they want religious freedom. They want to be able to go and practice their religion, and they know they can't do it in Egypt because, as it says somewhere in here, as Moses was explaining to Pharaoh what he wanted and why, he said that it was an abomination to the Egyptians, them practicing their religion. So he wanted to go out, take the people out to the desert to practice their religion for 3 days, and I'm assuming he would come back. And by like the end of it, with all the plagues that happened, there was no way they would return after that. So yeah, another big, humongous change that I see a lot of depictions and tellings of this story doing. I just wanted to point that out. I want to end this on something. What did I want to end this on? Hang on a second. Yes, I wanted to end it on, that's one of the main things and reasons why religious freedom is in our Constitution in the U.S. To our detriment sometimes, especially right now, but also people should be able to practice their religions if they are citizens here. The problem comes when we bring in so many people that clearly oppose our religion, our main religion, especially the one that it was founded on, which is Christianity. Or at least the values found in Christianity. And that's the real problem. Just like when the Hebrews went to Egypt and the Egyptians had a different religion than them, and the Hebrews were not allowed to practice their religion there. They knew that. They didn't try. At least I don't think they did. They might have, and then realized that it was an abomination to Egyptians, and that's why they wanted to leave. I don't know, though. Probably not. But then, we have to be careful here in America with that, because, yes, in our Constitution it says religious freedom, but also what happens when a religion starts coming here and taking over big chunks of, like, certain states and pushing out the religion that is, like, of all the religions in America, that's the one that's most common, Christianity, and it's being pushed out of certain places by another religion that I will not name. What do you do then? Because a lot of those people are naturalized U.S. citizens. It's just a little iffy, you know, because they literally chant things that tell you that they really don't like us, but they want to enjoy the benefits of our country. I'm sorry I'm getting a little political. I didn't mean to when I started this conversation. I'm going to stop now. Let me get the cat. Ending with the kitty cat. And hopefully what I said made sense. It did to me. If you have any questions about what I just said, let me know in the comments and I'll try to answer them best I can, either in the comment section or in the next video, probably both, if anybody ever leaves a comment about what I just said. But anyway, bye!